Thanks for the invitation to sing for you today. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Let's start with a couple of songs I can't say I wish I wrote, but let's just say if I'd written either of these little songs, I would be wearing much more expensive pants. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Woke up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. 3 little birds were by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a melody pure and true, singing, this is my message to you. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Baby, 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 don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Ba-ba-ba-ba-boom-ba-ba, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you find me somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? Woke up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. 3 little birds were by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a melody pure and true, singing, this is my message to you. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Baby, baby, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Yes, everything is gonna be alright. I've seen my share of struggle when I thought that I knew best, when I've sailed through a storm instead of stopping to rest. But it always seems the hardest when I've made up my stubborn mind. Well, I'm changing my ways this time. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Have you ever seen an eagle head straight into the wind? He doesn't pick a fight, spreads his wings and just gives in. And in the end he always makes it home just fine. Guess he knows that every storm subsides. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. I'll let nature take its course. No more thinking that I know where this river's meant to go. I have railed against the stars for the cards that I've been dealt, for the lottery I've never won, for the heartache that I've felt. But it always seems when I let go of expectation and regret, life has plenty of surprises for me yet. I want to be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Want to be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. When my hands were emptied, when my hope was gone, couldn't help but wonder what had I done wrong. Even though my heart was broken, there was no need to despair, 'cause a vessel must be open to put something better there. Oh yeah. Into my empty hands, gently you pour new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. So forgive me when I doubt it. I admit sometimes I do. Or consider giving up, 'cause I cannot see the truth. I know I'll never go without it. Your deep and abiding love for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand. You needed my empty hand. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be, and I cannot help but cry to think of the gifts you've given me. Now I understand. You needed my empty hands. So thank you for my thank you for my empty hands. I used to dream out loud. Just being human made me proud. Now I throw my hands up in the air from disillusion and despair. My heart has taken such abuse. I've used my hurt as my excuse. It's like my hope has disappeared behind the shadow of my fear. And I wonder why they say that aging thins the skin. Then I remember I am only one, but I am not alone. I don't need to do everything, no. I can right one wrong, I can sing one song. I don't need to do everything. It's time to dive back in, yeah. It's time to live again. I am unjaded. Fall to grow. I've fallen hard enough to know. So what if life's not fair? Does it mean that I'm too cool to care? And I wonder when I stopped believing right will win. Then I remember I am only one, but I am not alone. I don't need to do everything, no. I can right one wrong, I can sing one song. I don't need to do everything. It's time to dive back in, yeah. It's time to live again, unjaded. What kind of life would I live with my heart closed? What kind of man would I be? What kind of world will I be creating if I can love with all of me? If I just love with all of me? I am only one, but I am not alone. I don't need to do everything on my own. I can right one wrong. I can sing one song. I don't need to do everything. I am only one, but I am not alone. I don't need to do everything, no. I can right one wrong or sing one song. I don't need to do everything. It's time to dive back in. Yeah, it's time to dive back in. Oh, it's time to live again. I am unjaded. Oh, unjaded. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. If you know it, you want to sing with me? Love is my decision. It's up to me. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive, can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. Right here and now. One more time. Here we go. Love is my decision. It's up to me. It's up to me to dance down that road, to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load, can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. My decision right here and now. My decision right here and now. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful to see. At sunset I'm gone in a reverie. My beautiful bride, my baby smile. A country road rolling on for miles. But sometimes my eyes discourage instead, blurring the vision I have in my head. The dream I'm after fades further from view, till only the obstacles look true. And lately I wonder if I were blind, blind for a day, where would I go if my heart had its way? Would I see more than the doors that have closed in my face? If I were blind for a day. There's a girl in high school with a heart of gold. Smart as a whip, she's brave, she's bold. But when she looks in the mirror, all she can see is heavy and ugly and unworthy. And I can't help but wonder if she were blind just for a day, would she still be cruel to herself that way? Or maybe she'd see there's nothing she needs to change if she were blind for a day. Blind for a day. How do our eyes deceive us? Where does our vision fail? Whether parent or teacher, policeman or preacher, we see what we think we'll see. We believe what we're taught to believe. World on fire, world afraid. So we focus only on enemies made. Colors divide us, holy books too. Political parties, well, what else is new? Still I dare to wonder if we were blind, blind for a day, what kind of world would we create? If behind our disguises we find that we're all the same. If we were blind for a day, I'd like to think things would change. If only would lead the way. There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angel's wings, or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. We speak so many languages, different clothing, different colors, different names. But different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. And we'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit or Jesus or Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem or Heaven's Door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth, or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, yeah. One power's what we are. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness, the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon for its love, its most deep. It's one power. What we are is it's the power of the love lives forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me. Hello, my name is Daniel. So glad you're here to hear some music. Hope you're enjoying. That was a lot of songs in a row. Generally speaking, I don't start talking. I've learned from experience that when I start talking, I have a hard time stopping. And that's not really in anyone's best interests. But I will share a brief story before I sing this next song. We'll see how brief I manage it to be. But let me actually get a sip of water. Man, I'll tell you, I always mean all my songs. I don't have a set list, so I choose whatever song feels right next. And as a result, I'm not, since nothing about it is staged, I'm choosing a song that I feel, so I'm feeling every line. And I'll tell you what, these are some emotional times to feel certain things and to sing certain things. Maybe they're emotional times to listen to certain things. I once heard a joke. I think it was a stand-up comedy. I like stand-up comedy. Listening, I don't remember who it was who said, I was driving with a friend of mine and my friend was eating a banana. And he finished the banana and he rolled down the window and tossed his banana peel out the window. The comedian says, so I said to my friend, what the hell are you doing? Throwing a banana peel out the window. And his friend said, don't worry about it, it's biodegradable. And he said, yeah, but it's ugly. And I don't know if that joke made sense the way I told it, but the idea being, of course, it doesn't matter if it's natural or if it'll dissolve. It matters that it makes the street look dirtier, less pleasant for everybody. And I can't help but think of that joke these days when so many people are screaming at each other in different ways and about different things. And I can't help but thinking, somebody saying something harsh. It's like throwing the banana peel out the window. And the person receiving it says, what'd you do that for? And they say, I was right. I'm right. Why'd you say that? I was right. It's right. What I said was true. Yeah, but it was mean. Yeah, but it wasn't compassionate. Yeah, but it was impatient. Yeah, but it was shouted. Yeah, but it was scary. Kind of like but the banana peel just makes the street look uglier. I can't help but think of kindness that way. I was raised in a traditional Jewish home, and I was raised with a lot of rules. Judaism has a lot of rules, like Catholicism. I think they're very similar. As I've grown up, I've learned. You learn what to eat and what to pray and when to stand and when to sit, and just every aspect. Really, daily life is governed by rules in traditional Orthodox Judaism, and yet I always had a filter up that had nothing to do with the rules that people were following. My filter for whether I liked somebody or even respected them really was whether they were nice, kind. That to me was far more important than whether they wore clergy robes or whether they prayed. In Judaism, you pray 3 times a day in Orthodox Judaism, or whether they gave charity even. If they did it, or if they did it by obligation, it didn't impress me. What impressed me was people spontaneously generous and kind and empathetic and compassionate. That knocks me out every time. Somebody doing the right thing without expectation of credit or reward, or even acknowledgement, without witnesses. I once read somewhere, integrity is doing the right thing when no one's looking. And I feel the same way about kindness in a way. It's just always been my highest value, honestly. Um, in fact, sometimes I wish I was. I'm not saying I'm a saint, of course, but I wish I was a little bit rougher around the edges sometimes. I kind of feel like I would have gotten more done and maybe claimed more space for myself over the years, relationships and work and professional advancement and school and so on. The squeaky wheel, which frequently means the cranky wheel, does tend to get a little bit more grease than the nice one, and I have always been on the nicer side of the spectrum. Again, not perfect, but nicer side. Um, so maybe it's no surprise. Marilyn mentioned my son Jude, who is now 8, and it's no surprise then that for my wife as well, kindness is a principal value that we are intending to impart um, to the smallest of creatures. Kindness to friends, to strangers, to mentally ill people on the streets, to everyone, right? Uh, Lead with kindness even as you keep your guard up. Lead with kindness even as you wait to find out more details. Um, you know, um, and that's shown up in Jude in some beautiful ways over the years, and I'm sure we'll continue to, of course, in unexpected ways. But there was one day that my wife and I got a phone call from his teacher. He was this is a couple years ago now. He's in third grade, just started third grade, and we got a call that was very special that I figured I would never forget, but now I for sure won't, since it inspired this next song. But there was a boy in Jude's class. I'll call him Evan, and he had just arrived in the United States from Vietnam. First couple of months in the country, didn't speak a word of English. His parents arrived with Evan and his very, very cute baby brother. My goodness, beautiful babies. Anyway, and Evan started in school and didn't speak a word of English, and didn't do so well. He was getting in trouble. He was throwing elbows. He couldn't follow instructions. Of course, he probably didn't understand them. Didn't know what country he is in, much less what city or what culture, or what. He had no idea expectations on him. It would throw anybody. And this little 6-year-old boy, Jude, was coming home every day with another story about how Evan had gotten in a little bit of a fight, or had completely disobeyed or disrespected or whatever it was, and it was a tricky situation. The kids had been very lovingly kind of coached on looking out for Evan and understanding, putting his behavior in some perspective. But they were also 6, so only so far that goes. Anyway, so one day Jude's teacher calls and says, your son is so kind. So of course I start crying, and my wife looks at me like, "Oh God, you're not going to start crying," which is kind of a good summary of our relationship. She's the tough one, which is good to have a tough one in the family. Anyway, so she says, "Your son, when somebody can't find the color crayon they want, he looks for it for them. He walks a kid to the bathroom if they're confused and lost about where the bathroom is. He's just a very nice boy." Well, I'm like, "Well, thank you." She said, "But today he really did something that I wanted to tell you what he did. It was really pretty special." And she said, "Every day I read a book to the class, 28 kids, can you imagine? Or maybe you can, maybe you're a teacher, sitting on a rug. And the kids are on the rug, and I finish reading the book. And Jude raises his hand and says, I think Evan did such a good job listening today that he should get an extra point. Now I have I am really a first generation born American on my mother's side. She was born out of the country. My father is a first generation born in America on his parents' side. My bubby, my dad's mom, was born in Poland. The youngest of 13 kids, arrived in the United States at the turn of the 20th century. All 13 of them and their parents penniless. And my bubby, my bubby, started in kindergarten not speaking a word of English. Now, at 98 years old, she was on her deathbed. And I went and visited her, so I'm a witness to this, that at 98, she was still talking proudly about the fact that she had started kindergarten, that little girl, tiny little girl, and she never got much taller than that, actually. She was about as wide as she was tall. But she said she was still proud of the fact that in kindergarten, she didn't speak a word of English. And in second grade, she won the spelling bee. When we got this phone call from Jude's teacher, I couldn't help but think of my bubby. And when Jude, who had passed away years earlier at this point. When Jude came home, I told him about his great-grandmother. I said, your bubby turned out to be one of the smartest kids in her class in second grade. Nobody knew it in kindergarten. And I promise you that it wasn't her own effort alone that got her from couldn't speak a word of English to excellent speller 2 years later. She had help, she had encouragement, she had people who said nice things to her and did nice things for her. Promise. And it probably wasn't her parents, who had 13 kids and themselves didn't speak any English. I said, so here's what you did today, Jude. You spoke up for a little boy who has heard probably next to nothing except instruction and correction, who has seen disapproval and frustration, impatience on the faces of kids and teachers, who has been sent to the office multiple times. He is struggling. Today you spoke up for him with nothing but kindness. One simple sentence. Everyone smiled at him. The teacher smiled at him. No judgment, no correction, nothing he even needed to understand. He probably didn't understand what you said about him, but he knew that he was being approved of and welcomed, and very possibly for the first time unequivocally and unconditionally since he got here. Evan might be the smartest kid in your class. He might cure cancer. He might become an airline pilot or an army hero or a doctor. There's no way. He might be the funniest kid in your class. He might be the sweetest kid in your class. You don't know yet, but you do know that today you made a difference for Evan. And I just felt, and I still feel, like sometimes we want to fix the whole world. We want to heal the world's hunger. We want to house the homeless. We want to heal the mentally ill and the physically ill. We want to rectify injustice. We want to bring peace to the streets and to the countries. And yet, as soon as we look at a problem that big, I feel like we're, to some extent, missing the opportunity right in front of us to say one kind thing, make one small difference. A few months after we got that phone call, I wrote this song. Lately I've been thinking about what motivates me to give a couple dollars to a stranger on the street, to hold the door, carry groceries, help a neighbor in need. When history repeats itself in headlines every day. Solutions never big enough for problems that we face. As a man, as a dad, what difference can I make? 'Cause I know better than to think I'll be remembered for a favor or a quarter or a smile. Oh, but maybe before I return to sender, I can do one thing worthwhile. So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to raise a kind child. Sure would help if our boy went and got an MBA and took care of his artist mom and dad in their old age. But let's face it, Wall Street probably isn't in his DNA. But when his first grade teacher said she wanted us to know, it's Jude who always comforts any kid who sits alone. There's just so much pride my heart can take. My retirement can wait. Cause I know better than to think I'll be remembered for a fortune or a pension or a prize. Oh, but maybe before I return to sender, I'll have done one thing worthwhile. So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to raise a kind child. I don't want him to think the world is his to save. It's too much pressure anyway, can't be done. I don't want him to think he has to be a saint, 'cause the truth is, saints don't have any fun. Mostly I just hope, my boy, you'll come to understand. No 401k or GPA can make a happy man. It's having roots, doing good, helping out where you can. So put down roots, do some good, take somebody's hand. And you'll know better than most what really matters. What makes living this life worthwhile? And there may come a day your own kids will remember how their granddad used to say with a smile that he raised we raised a kind child. So, time for a couple more songs. I would like to sing for you something I have no business singing, but it is relatively new. Wrote it last year and released it on an album that this is the title song of. The album's called Sing About Love, and that song Kind Child is on that album, but so is this next song, of course. And I mentioned my bubby, I mentioned growing up in a Jewish home. So when I moved to LA to make a living making music, that was not what I was raised to do. I'm a child of two lawyers, and my father is a civil rights professor. He's won multiple honors in the city of Chicago and national awards for advocating for the civil rights of all Americans. He's done that for just retired from being a professor, a civil rights professor, for almost 50 years. But I was not supposed to be a songwriter. I was supposed to be a lawyer, needless to say, um, or at least a teacher, which both of my brothers ended up being. I was a computer programmer after college. I was an economics major in college. So we were raised, all three boys, to be very cerebral and to not just to be nice boys, but really to be rule following, good citizens, ultimately good husbands, good fathers, not artists. And my family, my mom's side, I mentioned my bubby on my dad's side, but my mom's side of the family um, uh, barely survived. My mom's parents barely survived the Holocaust, and essentially no one else in their family or in their entire world did. So they lost overnight. They lost at least 10 brothers and sisters, all their uncles and aunts, both sets of parents, all their friends, their hometown. Um, they escaped, and even after the war, were unable to return to their hometown. Ended up emigrating to Chicago, where their papers were sponsored by a distant relative who had scanned the list of Holocaust surviving Jewish Europeans, and anyone they recognized, any name, no matter how distantly related or a friend, anybody they could identify, they sponsored. And to hear my uncle tell it, they sponsored at least 100 people to emigrate to Chicago, and that means they put them up in their living room of their house and co-signed leases for them to get apartments and help them start businesses, help them learn English, help their kids get enrolled in school. I'll never know those people, but they're the reason I grew up in Chicago, and they're the reason my family made it to America to begin with and has had the opportunities in the lives that we've had. All that being said, I moved to LA to make music for a living. I quit the computer programming career and in my late 20s moved to LA, started singing songs for a living. I did not know how I was going to do that. I knew that music was my principal and primary joy, and has never stopped. The music never stops in my head ever, day and night, sleep and awake. Um, Written thousands of songs, and it's not even an obsession. It's just how my brain is wired. So I knew that I wanted to do that, but I didn't know what form it would take. And the form it ended up taking was the songs you've heard today. So go ahead and try and tell me what kind of songs those are. I mean, I sit on airplanes next to people, and they say, "Oh, you write songs," because they see me working. I'm always working on music. "Oh, you write songs? Yeah. What kind of music do you write?" No idea. Can't. No idea how to answer that question. Uh, Sometimes I have the chance to play them a song, and that sort of fills in a little bit of a gap. But is it pop music? No, there's no radio station for it. Is it Christian? No, I'm not Christian. It's not country. Sometimes folk. It just leans positive, and that's just the way it's the way I prefer to express myself musically most of the time. I write cranky songs, I write codependent love songs, I write obsessive and angry and funny and sarcastic songs. I do. But if you ask me what do I do, it's this. You know, for better or worse, this is it. Um, but only in the last few years have I really gotten clearer on where it all comes from, the fire to do what I do, and it goes back to those family members that I'll never meet in Poland, and it goes back to my little bubby standing on the street to take a bus to downtown Chicago, uh, rain or snow or sleet or hail for almost 30 years to work in a minimum wage job in the Sears Roebuck building in downtown Chicago to support her sons, one of whom died then in the Navy. So, you know, I am an American story and a European and an immigrant story and a Holocaust story. And my songs are, they run deeper. I'm not trying to praise them. You can decide whether they're any good. But energetically, emotionally, philosophically, spiritually, they run deeper than I was previously aware. And I think that happened because I wasn't aware. In other words, I just I write and sing what feels true. And what comes out is an attempt to make the world a better place with a song, an attempt to sand off one little rough edge at a time, to make a wall invisible for a few minutes at a time, to increase even marginally the amount of compassion and kindness and peace of mind in the world. And with this most recent song, which is very different than anything I've ever written before, and I'm going to sing it to a track, and you'll see why in a second. With this new song, I was able to put into words and music a bit of my story and some context for the music I make that I never had before. I'm very proud of the song, and it's a little crazy. And then I'll close with something a little more characteristic of me. So here we go. A new song, relatively new song, by me, but not about me. Not mostly. Here we go. I could sing about mistakes I've made, broken hearts and broken wings. I could sing about my aches and pains and the one that got away. But it seems to me the world has its hurts to spare. Shadows are everywhere. I decided I've cried enough. There's plenty of songs about tough luck. I'm gonna sing about love. Gonna sing about love and lift somebody up instead of talking about tough luck. I can't deny I still dream about the glory, the Grammy, the gold. I cannot lie, I still wish sometimes my eyes and my heart would close. But it seems to me my family escaped the war and they never sang anymore. They lost everything they had. And if a song is all I can give back, I'm gonna sing about love. Gonna sing about love and lift somebody up. Gonna sing about love instead of talking about tough luck. Whoa, no more tough luck. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Gonna take my cue from a few folks I look up to. I'm gonna sing about love. Stevie Wonder sings in the key of life. Bobby McFerrin says, be happy, it'll be alright. Marvin Gaye showed the way, what's going on? It's a wonderful world, thanks to Louis Armstrong. Soul Asylum saved those runaway kids. John Lennon just imagined it, the whole world did. John Denver took a skyway, Tina Turner to the sea. Stevie Winwood to a higher love, John Legend and Common to freedom. Pete Seeger's gonna overcome. Bob Marley just smiled at the rising sun. Eminem will lose himself before the moment's gone. Miss Jackson knows the knowledge is what we want. Gloria Gaynor maintained that we're gonna survive. Tim McGraw wants us to live like we are dying. line. Aretha got R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Bette Midler from a distance, the whole world we see. Tom Petty, Free Falls. Leanne, Hopes We Dance. Josh Groban raises us up. If we're hurting, R.E.M. understands. Irving B, Bless the USA. Van Morrison ushered in a brand new day. Whitney sang about the greatest love of all. Johnny Nash can see clearly now the rain won't fall. Pink knows we're beautiful. Christina does too. Rihanna sees us shining like a diamond. We keep walking like the Foo Fighters. Fight the power, Public Enemy said. Miley is a climber. Andy Grammer keeps his head up. Bill Withers, we can lean on him. Natasha's unwritten. Taylor Swift shakes it off again. Lady Gaga was born this way. Jason Mraz, truly glad to be our friend today. The Black Eyed Peas wonder where's the love. Desiree gotta be. Journey never stop believing in us. Simon over troubled water made a bridge. Elton John lit a candle for Diana, he did. It's the same love. Macklemore was moved to pray. Izzy made a rainbow with an ukulele. James Brown, loud and proud. Bruce Hornsby laid it out the way it is. Queen made us into champions. U2 and Dr. King and the power of one. Sam Cooke made you look. Change is gonna come. Peter Gabriel ain't giving up on us. Just that we are the world. Save lives. No star they couldn't get. Irene Cara, what a feeling alive. Pharrell made us happy. Katy Perry lit a firework in the sky. Carole King, we've got a friend. Switchfoot dared us all to move again. Paul McCartney's words of wisdom were to let it be. And the weight of the world was taken off by Aloe Black and Avicii. So what do I do? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sing about love. Sing about love. Lift somebody up. Instead of talking about tough luck, I'm gonna sing about love. Whew. When I think about my own choices musically and songwriting choices and the yeses I've said no to, said yes to, and the no's I've said no to, and the way this strange little career of mine has gone. Now it's been 20-something years and 20-something albums. In my own small way, and it is a small way, I have made the difference that I can make. And you know who else made that difference? Was an actor named Chadwick Boseman, who died yesterday, 43 years old. Never mind how handsome and how talented he was, how successful he was at being an actor. But I think about the fact that he played Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, James Brown, and an African, it's essentially an African king. And he played all four parts with so much dignity and intelligence and like a steel in his spine, compassion in his face. And I think about the choices an actor has to make in the course of a career, the scripts to say yes to, the opportunities to take. And I don't know that guy, Mr. Boseman. I hope he rests in peace. And but I know that someone who chose to play those people and who left that legacy had his eye not only on a successful career, but on a better humanity. And he left it that way. It would be my dream to leave it that way as well. So, one more song. Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming. Thank you for staying. There's very little I take for granted in this job of mine. I'm here in my fixer-upper house in Orange County, California. We moved here over Thanksgiving, and since March, I have been more of a home renovator than I have been of a. Haven't been producing much records, many records. Haven't been writing any songs. I've been performing a lot. In fact, I can go to this chat page and at least share with you a lot of free performances that you can enjoy anytime you feel like it. If you go to facebook.com/Daniel Nahmod USA. My website is danielnahmod.com. So if you go to Facebook, oh, that's all panelists. So maybe Marilyn, if you're able to share with everybody. Oh, I could have done to all panelists and attendees instead. Maybe I'll do it again. Facebook. Anyway, so if you go to Facebook, in March when my schedule cleared, and it was months and months and months of travel and performances on the way, and the rest of the year, I didn't actually know how I was going to keep doing. Forget about making a living; that was important too. But I didn't know how I was going to offer the message I offer exactly at a moment when I perceived that people would most benefit from that message, the message of peace of mind and trust and cooperation and compassion. And Facebook, as much as I've always resented it and distrusted it and ignored it, has really made something special happen for me and for the people who have watched my concerts. I started giving concerts late March, and I've given 45 or 50 of them on Facebook, sometimes 20 minutes, sometimes 45 minutes. I've given 12 in a row, 12 nights in a row. I've done that 3 times. I've gone a little nuts with it, but it's been really, really special and rewarding, and especially to find how isolated some people truly are. I know that some of you watching are encountering very few, if any, people. No hugs, no friends contacting you, no visits, no neighbors knocking on your door, no strolls down the street. I know, because it's true here too, halfway, all the way across the country. So if my little concert today has kept you company, then I'm happy. But that's what these concerts on Facebook really turned out to be. They started off being a lark, just kind of fun. Let's sing some songs. But then I realized from the comments and from the feedback from people that for even a very few people, it didn't matter how many, it was really making a difference to be serenaded every day for 12 days, that kind of thing. And that's what I started doing. So if you feel like watching a few songs or binge watching for hours, it's all there on Facebook for free. Enjoy it, please. Share it with your friends if you like, your family. If you don't know what to watch and you scroll through all the videos, just go to that page and you scroll through the videos. You'll see how many. But look for the grand finale of the most recent season of concerts, season 4 grand finale. It was a nice show. The night before that was covers. I did Bill Withers, and I did Stevie Wonder, and I did Tom Petty, I believe. I did some experimental things and some fun things. And so anyway, you're invited to do that. And then if you wanted any CDs or digital downloads, that's on my website, of course. But Facebook is really the place where I've been able to give what is mine to give at a time of tremendous stress and strain and fear and anxiety and uncertainty. So one more song. Thank you again. This is a song that Chadwick Boseman reminded me of, and the difference that he made, and that so many make on a daily basis. The history books are grand stories of giant events and extraordinary achievements, but you and I both know that the world is saturated with kindness and kind acts. From the smallest, from holding a door for somebody, to running a nonprofit, to dropping off a meal at a neighbor's house, to showing up in Haiti after a storm or an earthquake, to Doctors Without Borders, to Habitat for Humanity. There is so much kindness and so much compassion in the world. It's not rare. It's just usually so far below the radar and so small, that it doesn't merit news stories, write-ups, and headlines. But it is right there is where the world gets kinder and happier and healthier and more just. So this is a song about small things making a difference. I hope you enjoy. Thank you again for having me. Have a beautiful, restful Saturday afternoon or evening at this point in New York for you. And I hope to sing for you again sometime soon. If this is my last song, if this is my final day, if tomorrow I'll be gone, what do I want to say? If this is my last song, if it's my time to go, when my body's moved on, what will I have to show? Oh, but fortune and fame, they scatter to the wind. The things that make a name just don't matter in the end. But is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. If these are my last words for all of the earth to hear, if all that I have ever been is about to disappear, if these are my last words, there's nothing that I need to say. I have only tried to serve. It's never been about talking anyway. So much hurt there is to heal, it's hard to understand. All I can hope to feel is that I am doing what I can. Is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. Have I given hope to the hopeless? Has a hungry soul been fed? Has a child stood a little bit taller 'cause of something that I said? Have I left a little kindness? Have I eased a little pain? If so, then I'm glad I came. For that, I'm so glad I came. If this is my last song, what do I leave behind? What do I pass on? If I am